Now, we will go on to our next speaker, who will be talking about ethical governance in digital education. Before that, allow me to say a few words about our speaker. Prior to holding the office of President of the Republic of Croatia from 2010 to 2015, our next speaker was a university professor, a member of the Croatian parliament, and a composer. He taught criminal procedure law, international penal law, and misdemeanor law. He also taught harmony at the Zagreb Music Academy. He has published several books and 85 scholarly and expert papers in journals and magazines in Croatia and abroad. He has composed about 50 compositions for different instruments, chamber ensembles, and symphony orchestras that are performed by eminent Croatian and foreign artists. Please welcome for his keynote on ethical governance in digital education, the third President of the Republic of Croatia, His Excellency, Professor Ivo Josipovic.
Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be with you today. It's one beautiful project that you started, and I hope I will be a good collaborator in this project. So I would like to speak a little bit shortly about ethical approach in education and in business, and what would I like to teach about in next period. Firstly, we have to have on our minds ethical approach during education. What does it mean, education? It's not just remembering facts. It's also accepting values. That's very important. We have to teach our students about values, and it's very important. I will speak a little bit more later about some of values I would like to stress, especially having in mind my expertise. Secondly, of course, it's a relation between university, school, professors on one side and students on the other side. It's very important to be aware that we have to afford equal opportunities for students. That means not only technical possibilities, similar technical possibilities to everyone, but to take advantage of new digital surrounding. That's very important. To be capable to include young people, in spite most of them knows much more than we do about digital issues, but we have to connect business issue, learning, and digital surrounding to help them. Of course, it's also connected to specific type of communication between professors and students. Probably we can speak of some kind of code of conduct during communication, how to communicate with our students and how they can communicate with us and among themselves as well. That's very important. It should be appropriate, and we have to obey and to respect also cultural differences. We are a multicultural society. We are people coming from all over the world, so we have to know about each other and to respect each other, and that's very important to me, as well as gender equality. Definitely, in many countries today, there are many issues connected with gender equality and non-discrimination. It's very important to support our young lady students to be not only equal, but to be competitive with male colleagues due to differences produced by specific cultural and historical development during human history. But we are equal, we are one, and we have to show it during our educational process as well. Then we have to teach our students that digital era offers really many sources of knowledge, but also to be aware that not all of them are good ones. there is very old wording connected to digital world and computers: garbage in, garbage out. So it's very important to understand that we should be very cautious about different sources of knowledge we can find on internet or whatever, and to be critical about them as well. That's also part of our role in digital education. But also not only educational process, but also the substance must have ethical approach. So we have to learn to teach how to apply some very important ethical principles, not only in the education, but after education as well. Firstly, what I would like to communicate to students is a relation between business and the government. What does it mean? What are the areas when business and government are going together, and in which areas they are confronting? And what should be the proper distance between business and the government? Then also, I think that everyone who is now involved in business, especially big business connected to governmental issues, big bridges, public procurements, and the other, should be very, very sensitive to conflict of interest. Conflict of interest primarily on the side of politicians, but also it can be visible on side of business people. So conflict of interest is a very important concept in modern and democratic society, and I think students should be informed about this. Very near to the concept of conflict of interest is corruption. Unfortunately, corruption is very widespread all around the world, especially in new democracies, in developing countries, but also in very developed countries as well. There are many international organizations fighting corruption all around the world, and nearly all countries are willing to declare that they are fighting corruption. They have provisions in constitutions, in criminal laws, and whatever. But in practice, many structures in many countries are subject to corruption, unfortunately. So, but it's not only a problem for the government and for respective society, it's also a problem for business. Incredible amount of money is lost in labyrinths of business issues in many countries. So the other important issue is socially responsible business, SDG, and the other very important goals declared not only by global community through UN or some other international organization, but also local important issues. It can be ecological, it can be energy issue, it can be whatever, but it's very important how to have an appropriate approach to this very important and socially sensitive issues that we call it in general socially responsible business. Then a very important issue is also relation between employer and employees. We have to take care about fairness. Fairness is very important, and we should not teach our students that it's good and or it's acceptable to have in some poor country kids paid by $1 a week to produce some, I don't know what, I will not mention any company, but that's something that's not I think a business that we would like to have from our students. Then finally, a very important issue is copyright and other aspects of intellectual property. It's very important because there are some societies not being sensitive to intellectual property. Intellectual property, some patents or copyright matters are product of intelligent people contributing to society, investing in copyright, but there are some people willing to steal it, just to steal it. And I think we should teach and we should tell to our students, please don't steal knowledge and the results of work of the other people. It's very important because some economies are really suffering from copycats and the other people not willing to obey and to respect the work of the others. So during education, students should also know that they are part of society. They are not isolated from society, from local society, from the state when they are incorporated, and also for global society. The part of good business is knowledge about our differences, about different cultures, about different religions, about different approaches to business, and of course to be adaptive to those differences, having always in mind general principles that should be and that must be applied in all situations. So that will be my try to contribute to this beautiful new school, and I'm very happy to be part of this beautiful. Thank you very much.